So let's go ahead and talk about liturgy and the arts and Edenifying the world. I'm Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. For a long time, I've been captivated by this reality, the presence of the arts in the liturgy. Because in each and every Mass, what do we have? First of all, we have the space, we have architecture. And with that, we have carpentry, and we have masonry, and then we have sort of, if you will, the decorating of it. We have painting, we have sculpting with the various linens, we have needlework and sewing, we have the making of the vestments, we have the making of wine, we have the making of bread. In the readings, we have literature. In the psalm, we have poetry. In the preaching, we have the art of rhetoric. We have the making of candles, and we can sing the different movements, the ritual movements, the procession, the standing, the kneeling. There's even a dance to it. And I just find it so beautiful and fascinating, all of the ways in which the arts are there. And there's a space for them in both the space in which we worship and in the worship itself. And part of what I see in this is there's this invitation from the Lord to participate in. There's a place to give expression to our love, but through the using of our gifts. There's a place for us to express our humanity and to worship with our humanity. And also all of this helps us in our humanity to receive the fullness of God and His goodness. And I think it's so beautiful. And what this calls to mind to me is this. It calls to mind to me one of the first invitations of God in the garden, specifically to Adam, to till and keep. There was this invitation at the very beginning to collaborate with God in Eden and in the garden. And part of this was there's this, again, it's a place to pour out yourself and your humanity, and it's a part, a way for you to do the work humanly, to receive and to taste and see the goodness of the Lord present in Eden, in that relationship, but also through His creation. And all of this, kind of the lens I've been going through, a lot of things I've been talking about, is this whole Jubilee year. And again, this is pulling from Jesus and the Jubilee by Dr. Bergsma. What he's talking about, this Jubilee year is this invitation to restoration and to restore what we once had in the garden. Adam and Eve lived in, before the fall, they lived in perfect freedom. They were in perfect relationship with one another. They had no debts. They had a place, a home in Eden, and they were able to find a perfect rest in the experiencing the fullness of the goodness of God. But through sin, they got expelled from Eden. And then it's on their journey, and we'll kind of highlight their journey from slavery to the promised land in the desert, where the Lord is leading them home. The Lord is leading them home. He's leading them to a place, this home place, the restoring of a family, the freeing them from slavery, the forgiving of debts, God's providence. All of this is part of what's happening and being restored in the garden through law and through what God is doing. He's trying to restore what had been lost in sin. And what does God do? He gives a mandate to create an ark, to create the tabernacle, this place to go and to be in relationship with God, this place to go and to worship Him. And if we look, part of the instruction, the mandate from God to create this, if we will, this traveling place in which He's present to us, it involved a good amount of work, and they had to build it, and there was creating of something beautiful. And I do believe that the kind of current expression of this place in which we get to go and to be in relationship with God and to worship, in which we get to experience the place in which we are invited to return, and which returns us, restores us to what has been lost, is actually worship, is the liturgy. That this is the new way in which we can return to and do the work of returning to, of being restored to Eden. And that there's a way in which the worship and the liturgy is this garden. And that we are invited, as I've said, started out with the various arts and things like that, to be obedient to that original command of to till and keep. Have to be there and to make it beautiful and to enter into it, and to give, to provide sort of some of the beauty and to magnify through the arts the beauty of the Lord, to make experiential the goodness and the beauty of the Lord. The liturgy, it's called to be this garden. It's called to be a return to Eden, and it's called to be profoundly beautiful. And we are called to enter into it to help to make it beautiful again, to help make experiential the goodness, the beauty, the goodness, the truth of the Lord. Then we are sent. And so what we are called to do is like what we have done in worship, we are called to continue to do out in the world. And if I could say like to Edenify the world, that we receive the fullness of God and the goodness of God. We experience the goodness of God. But we are to go and with our lives, with our art, but also with our life, to proclaim and to make present, to make experiential the goodness, the truth, and the beauty of God in all of the world. All right, friends, remember we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. We're going to make it. God bless you all.